I hope that you are enjoying your Saturday. Let's get started in doing the yogas. If you're just joining me for the first time, my name is Vanessa. We've been working on a grounding practice and we finally reached our seventh class, which is my last class with y'all. And I've enjoyed waking up every morning with y'all every Saturday. And I hope that you have too. So come to a comfortable seat. And if you always sit with one leg on top, I encourage you to switch it up. Walk your sit bones back, wiggle, shoulders up by the ears, give yourself some shoulder rolls, get into your body. Go ahead and place the palms face down on the thighs, the elbows along the side body. Lengthen up through your spine. So think about bringing your shoulders over your hips. And the chin will be drawn in slightly and then lengthening through the crown of the head. Softly close the eyes and tune into the rhythm of your breath. Inhaling fully and exhaling fully. And just sending that fresh prana or chi all the way through every single cell, every single muscle. And as you're scanning your body with breath, you might just becoming aware of any places that the breath might get caught. So we might get stuck in a little place that seems sticky or tight. We're not judging that. We're just coming into awareness. I like to think about if I'm coming to a spot that might feel a little tight, think about focusing my attention to that area and breathing into that area like it had its own set of lungs. Because you're essentially sweeping your body with breath. So getting into your little corners of your body, brushing away any cobwebs. Now, there also might be some places that feel a little light and easy, and there might be some places that also are neutral, and that's perfectly normal. Let's continue to take full inhalations and exhalations through the body, and as you're scanning the body with breath, we start to scan up into the mind and just acknowledge where you're at today. So just like the weather's changing outside constantly, our weather inside is also changing. So maybe yesterday was sunny, maybe today not so much, and knowing that change is the constant. So if your mind starts to wander off of any little tangent, just kind of bring your attention back to your breath and back to your body. I like to think about watching those thoughts go by like you're watching clouds go by in the sky. So you're not really attached to any one thing. And anytime the mind wanders, you can bring your attention back to the breath and back to the body. Let's bring our palms together in front of our hearts, letting the thumbs and the pinkies press evenly against one another. And perhaps in this small little space of your palms, you can set an intention for your practice. Now, that can just be to be in the breath, but it could also be to be present. It could also be for gratitude or compassion, love, hope, letting it just be one word. That way, when the mind does wander, you anchor yourself back with your word. So, whatever that is for you today, just hold it in your mind and your heart for a moment. And let's inhale together fully. As we exhale, bow the mind to the heart, sealing your intention. Release the palms, bring the head up slowly, open the eyes brightly. Good morning. We are going to start on our backs today, and we're going to get more into probably not moving off the ground too much because we love doing our grounding practices, but maybe opening up more hips, and we'll be doing that in a supine position. So I might get up and show you some other ways to do that or modify as we go. So coming to the middle of your mat, go ahead and rock down, pull the knees into the belly. And we'll start simple with some apanasana. So then fingertips come onto the knees, or palms on the knees, fingertips pointing to the toes. Inhaling, the knees come away from you, the arms straighten. Exhale, knees into belly. Inhaling, extend, exhaling. squeezing all the air out of the body, hence the name Apanasana is when releasing posture. Now we want to link the movement to the breath or let the movement be initiated by the breath. And what I mean by that is as soon as the inhale begins, that's when my knees start to fall away. As I exhale. And then linking the movement to your breath is essentially where the word vinyasa comes from. Now, as you are doing your apanasana, it might feel good for you if you want to get into your hips to maybe roll the knees out, down, and around. Still moving with the inhale, the knees away, and exhale as the knees come into the belly. And then we'll take those circles, if you were rowing the knees, into the opposite direction. So now in, down, and out. And then we'll set our feet down like bridge pose. So feet hip distance apart and the knees pointing up towards the ceiling. I'm going to extend my right leg up towards the ceiling, clasping behind my right thigh, rolling the shoulders away from the ears, flexing this leg pretty straight unless you have tight hamstrings or quads, but we're not locking it out. So see me rolling the ankle, pointing and flexing the foot. And then we're going to move with the breath here. So inhaling, extending the leg straight, exhaling, knee into belly. Moving to the rhythm of your breath. The next time the knee comes in the belly, go ahead and hug it in there. Extend the left leg out onto the mat. You'll notice that my left leg is very active, so I'm keeping that foot flexed so that I'm finding a nice stretch through the whole spine as I draw the right knee in, press out through the left foot, shoulders away from the ears. And then we'll come into a supine twist. So I'm taking this right knee across the body. And if you have any low back stuff happening, it might feel better on your low back, especially early on in practice, to take stacked knees instead of a supine twist. Let your bones feel heavy, soften that right shoulder away. So it's almost like I'm reaching out with that right arm. Letting these bones feel heavy. Then we'll come back to center. Placing the feet back down. Now we're crossing behind the left thigh. Extending the left foot up towards the ceiling, shoulders away from the ear, pointing and flexing, rolling the ankle. And the same thing we did on the other side, moving with the breath, inhaling, extending, exhaling, knee into belly. And the next time that left knee comes in, we'll extend that right leg actively onto the mat. Shoulders away from here and press that right foot away from yourself as you continue to hug that left knee into the belly. And then we'll take it into supine twist. Once again, if this doesn't work for the back, the stack knees. And then extend out with that left arm, maybe the gaze follows.
And then we'll bring it back to center. Hug the knees into the belly. Take a nice long body stretch. Excuse me. And then we're going to rock onto our right side. We've done this one time before. So I'm going to make a little pillow with that right arm, but I'm actually bringing my body into alignment. So what I mean by that is that my heels are going to still stay in alignment with my tailbone. So not like out, more in alignment, drawing the belly in. You can tense up with these opposite fingers, but I'm also trying to keep everything in line. You'll know because if you start to get a little wobbly, you're actually engaging your abs here. It's lazy abs, Saturday morning abs. So what we're going to do here is and if you wanted to challenge yourself more, you could put this top hand on. If you're wobbling, you are engaging and you're doing it correctly. So we're going to lift for 5, inhaling and exhaling, pressing it down. And you'll notice I'm not quite touching, just to challenge myself a little more. And the last one. We're going to take that top leg. We're going to swing it out in front of us so much until it won't reach anymore. Then I'm going to set that down. I'm going to take this bottom leg and I'm going to reach back for it with my top hand. So I'm reaching out for the pinky edge. And the reason for that is that I can roll the shoulder back. So what I'm doing is I'm pressing away with that top leg. And I'm actually pressing the legs away from one another. You should feel this on your outer left hip and in the front of your right quad. So this bottom quad here. Relax the jaw. It's called cat pulling its tail. One more breath. Then we'll release. Roll onto the back. Long body stretch. And then you're just going to rock over to the left side. I'm going to change sides. So my back is up to you. And the same thing here, we're going to set ourselves up. So heels in alignment with tailbone and my shoulders also. So I have to use that slight lower belly here, maybe tensing up on this right fingertips or bringing that top hand to your thigh. Flexing the feet helps, in my opinion. But you do you, right? Inhaling for 5, exhaling. One more. And then we'll take that top leg, swing it out in front until it won't go anymore. And then we'll set that foot down. Bending the bottom leg, reaching for that pinky side as I roll that top shoulder back, and then I'll kick the feet away from one another. One side might be different than the other. Just making note. Ooh, and then we'll release, rocking onto the back. Long body stretch. We're going to hug behind the knees. And if it's okay for you, you will start to do some spinal rolls, maybe catching yourself in Navasana, boat pose. If this doesn't work for your low back, we're just going to come up into a tabletop position. So after this last one, catch yourself. Cross up the ankles. We'll come out into tabletop with my wrists underneath my shoulders and my knees underneath my hips. Maybe tucking the toes if you want to stretch the feet. Inhaling, belly drops, tailbone to sky. Exhaling, chin to chest, belly button back towards spine. Move into the remote breath. So I was reading one of these like 5 yoga moves you have to do every day, and cat-cow is so beneficial for just rinsing the spine. So at the bare minimum, if this is all you do and some supine twists, man, you're going to be good to go. So maybe if you're moving through your cat-cow, you might even add the cow-to-cat, maybe to child's pose, linking these 3 for Chakrabakasana. You might want to make some circles with your hips. Excuse me.
You might even want to take the palms a little wider and make figure eights with the shoulders. So for the next few rounds of breath, just kind of maybe even soften the gaze and ask your body what it wants to do, and then do that. One more round of breath. And then we're going to come back through our tabletop position. We're going to do a little kind of shoulder opening here. We're going to come down to our dolphin prep. So I'm going to grab my opposite elbows here. My elbows directly underneath my shoulders, maybe interlacing the palms in front to make an equilateral triangle. So from here, you're going to still, so my knees are staying, or my hips are staying over my knees, and we're going to do cat-cow from here. And all this does is get a little bit more and taking it to the upper spine. So you're really feeling it behind the shoulder blades. More kind of puffing up in that upper body. Now from here, with your arms already set in your dolphin prep, you're gonna reach back with your right foot, reach back with your left foot. Now we are in a forearm plank. You can always take this plank on your knees. So I'm reaching out through the heels. I'm kind of puffing up a little bit in the upper back, but not so much so here. I'm reaching through the crown of my head. Take one more breath. Feel the strength of your belly. And then we'll come all the way down. Yeah, Sphinx pose. So your feet will stay hip distance apart, or if you need to take them wider for your low back. Well, palms will become open here, but my elbows don't really move anywhere. Drawing the palms back, rooting through the pubic bone, lifting the crown of the head, and I'm even rooting into the 10 toes. The reason we want to root into the pubic bone and the 10 toes is that that takes the weight. Instead of if I'm just hanging here, then I'm really compressing in my low back. Now that my belly and my pubic bone is really rooted, find a little more space there. Inhale here, exhale, look over your right shoulder. Inhale to center, exhale over the left shoulder. Inhale to center, squeeze the shoulder, chin to chest, shake it out. And once again, inhaling up, Sphinx pose, exhaling over right shoulder. Inhaling to center, exhaling over left shoulder. Inhaling to center, squeeze. Press it up and back, child's pose. So if you want to breathe more into your low back, you can keep your knees together like I am here. You'll notice palms are forward. My forehead kind of touches the ground, not too much. If you wanted to get more into your hips and groin, you would take your knees wide. Your forehead might be able to touch the earth. Then you can rock on your temples from side to side. That might work best. To massage any tension or any like allergies, sinus stuff you might have going on. That's usually helpful here. And we'll come back into tabletop. From our tabletop position, I'm going to reach my right foot up and back. And as I exhale, I'm going to bring that right foot forward. We're coming to a low lunge. Keeping my feet on the earth and my fingertips. Sinking the hip forward. So I'm planting that left hand directly underneath my left shoulder, but I'm not locking that elbow out. I'm keeping it micro-bent. I'm bringing this right hand onto my thigh to press into the thigh to roll the top shoulder back, and then maybe take the twist, maybe extending that top arm out, continuing to see the hips forward. Let that top hand reach back. Look it down at that left thumb. We'll come back. Oops, lost my little microphone here. Inhale, cow pose. Exhale, cat pose. Left leg extends back. As we exhale, left foot comes forward. Now we're on our low lunge on the opposite side. Fingertips to either side, shoulders away from ears. Sink those hips forward, relax the jaw. Then I'm planting my right hand directly underneath my right shoulder without locking it out. So this would be locked out, and this is micro bends. Left hand to left thigh, taking my twist, maybe extending the top arm up. Left hand goes back, right hand, gaze goes down to right hand. Unwind. Knees together, inhaling cow pose, exhaling cat pose. Walk it back. I'm going to show you from this side. So keep our knees hip distance apart. You can even tuck your toes under if you like. Me back a little. Then my head was cut off. And I'm going to extend my left leg out. We're just coming to a gate pose, which we have done before. So you could keep your feet parallel with the toes pointing straight, or you could come to the heel and let the toes point to the sky. Either way, I'm micro bending this extended leg. Inhaling the right arm up as we exhale, crescenting over. Up, we'll plant that right hand. We'll just take it to the other side. Inhale. Exhaling. Then inhaling. And then exhaling. Inhale and bring it up. Exhale. Last one. So it kind of looked like I was putting pressure on my knee. I assure you, I'm reaching for the shin. We don't ever want to put any pressure on their knees because I hear they're expensive to replace. And then if this is too much, speaking of knees, on your knees, you could always do this seated. So it would just be like, lifting the hips, or not, yeah. Standing on the knees. So now we'll extend the opposite leg. So either toes straight forward or toes to the sky. Inhaling, left arm up, exhaling, crescenting over. Inhaling, and then exhaling. Inhaling, exhaling. Inhale, exhale. Last one. And back to hands and knees. Inhaling, cow pose. Exhaling, cat pose. Just rinse the spine. Come down to our dolphin prep. So elbows into that equilateral triangle, reaching back with the right toes, left toes to our forearm plank once again. This is how you can make time stand still. Just kidding. It does feel like that sometimes. 2 more breaths. Feel the strength of your belly. And down. Open it up. You can do cobra. You can do sphinx once again, or now we'll go into baby cobra. The main difference here is that my palms will be a little bit wider. My elbows lift up, but I still have the space here. I'm not bringing the elbows out to the side. They're drawing along the body like scaffolding for the spine. Exhale over that right shoulder. Inhale to center. Exhale over the left shoulder. Inhale to center. Once again. But we're still rooting into that pubic bone, therefore we're not collapsing or compressing in that low back. Press it back to your hands and knees. We'll start to come into our little lunge once again. Inhaling that right foot up and back, exhaling the right foot comes forward, staying with the fingertips down if you choose, or maybe now lifting up. There, I see a little frame. So here, I'm going to bring that bring both palms to the top of that right thigh, sink the hips forward. Relax the jaw. And then I'm going to inhale my left arm all the way up alongside my ear as I exhale, I'm crescenting over to the right. Inhale, bring it up. Exhale, Ardha Hanumanasana. Ardha Hanumanasana is one of my favorite ones because I feel like it can get your low back, it gets your back of your quads, whatever your hamstring, your calf. Like, what is that muscle called? So here's something that's kind of cool. You can tense up on your left fingertips and take a nice right little twist. The more you flex that right foot, you might even feel it on your outer right hip. Could feel nice in the low back. Ooh. Walk it up, knees together. Inhale, cow pose. Exhale, cat pose. And then we'll take that left foot up and back. We'll bring that left foot forward. I'm going to turn around so my back will to you when I take the twist. They twist. Either keeping the fingertips on the earth or walking the hands to your thighs, sinking the hips forward. Left hand comes on the thigh, right arm alongside the ear as I exhale, crescenting over to the left. I'll bring it up, exhale, Ardha Hanumanasana. You'll notice that my hips stay over that standing knee. And I got a micro bend in this extended leg. And every day is going to be different. And this is like you said, you're opening up the backs of the legs very gently. Still early. But then if you wanted to tense up on those right fingertips and take a nice little twist, ooh. Release. Knees together. Inhale, cow pose. Exhale, cat pose. Okay, I'm going to turn back around. We're going to extend that right toes back, maybe waking up that calf if that Ardha Hanumanasana seemed a little intense, because it did for me. And then from here, so you'll notice my shoulders are directly underneath my wrist. If you want to challenge yourself, you can bring your foot at hip height, toes pointing down. Now, my back toes are tucked under, or you could be on the tops of your feet. I find the toes tucked under help me find stability, but some people find that pressing into the top of the foot is easier for them, all of that your choice. Extending opposite arm, but drawing the shoulder blade back. Now we're in cat-bird pose. Exhale, elbow to knee. For 5. That last one, plant the left hand, will come into a side plank variation. Now with this bottom knee, you can keep it parallel to challenge yourself, or you can kind of make a little kickstand with it. Left arm is directly underneath the left shoulder. Now, if you wanted to challenge yourself even more, this is just a modified half moon if you wanted to lift that foot. Fall out of it, no biggie. Inhale, cow pose. Exhale, cat pose. Rinse the spine. Let yourself have a little fun this Saturday morning. And then we're going to do that on the other side. So I'll switch so you can see what I'm doing. So rocking back and forth just to warm up the back of that calf. And then we'll go ahead and lift it at hip height. Extending the opposite arm. And then exhaling, elbow to knee for 5. And then planting the right hand, coming into your side plank variation. And then once you feel secure in your side plank, maybe half moon. Well, one side might be better than the other, like that. When you're ready to release, tabletop, inhale, cow pose, exhale. All right, inhaling the right foot up and back. Exhale, right foot comes forward. Your choice of lunging here. So staying with your fingertips down or bringing the hands to the top of the thigh. Relax the jaw. Left arm alongside the ear. Exhale, crescent over. Now, if you wanted to bend that elbow and kind of try to come for the bind, that's you. I can't quite make it, but I like to have the intention there. Opening up the chest and the shoulders, relaxing the neck. So with my elbow bent, I'm kind of, oh, you can't really see, sorry. I'm gonna move back a little. So I'm like using the skull and I'm pressing in the back of that forearm. Release, Ardha Hanumanasana. So you might even rock that back knee and come out a little more if you're feeling a little more warm in that calf. Tinting out onto that left side, we'll take that little twist. Release, knees together. Inhale, cow pose. Exhale, cat pose. Rinsing the spine. Now, if you prefer to do cobra or sphinx in between these instead of the cat-cow, that will be up to you. Extending the left foot up and back. Exhale. Left foot forward. Now we come into our little lunge once again. Setting yourself up. Right arm alongside your ear, maybe even bending that elbow and kind of coming for the bind if that's something you want to do today. Pressing my skull back into my forearm. Then release, fold, Ardha Hanumanasana. Maybe even taking it a little wider if you're feeling a little warmed up. Then we'll tint on those right fingertips. We'll take our twist on this side. Release, let the knees come together. Inhale, cow pose. Exhale, cat pose. Let's inhale the right foot up and back. As we exhale, right knee is going to come towards our right wrist. We're coming into pigeon pose. If this doesn't work for you here, you can take the modified version that we have been doing this time on your back. So it looks like a figure four. Now, remembering the more parallel that this front shin is to the short side of your mat, the more intense of a hip opener it will be. So set yourself up. And as you're ready, you'll fold forward any amount. You can come down to those forearms. You can take those two thumbs and press them right into that little nook where your nose and your forehead meet. That's a little pressure point for your sinuses. Melt your heart forward, relax your jaw. Maybe make two fists and rest your third eye on. Come back to the breath, no matter what comes up for you. You're going to be here for a little while. Feel the support of the earth underneath you and notice if you're gripping your body anywhere that you can release on the exhalation. One more breath. Slowly begin to bring yourself back up. Walk that back toes in as we release. Coming into our tabletop position, you might want to make some circles with that right hip. Maybe rinsing the spine with some cat-cow. And then we'll take that to the other side. Left foot extends, exhaling. Left knee towards left wrist, setting your pigeon up. And one side might be totally different than the other. As you're ready, folding forward and making yourself comfortable, releasing into the support of the earth. We'll be here for about 20 breaths. Relax the jaw, shoulders away from the ears. Where can you let go? Last breath.
Slowly bring yourself up, walk those back toes in, back to your tabletop. Maybe make some circles with that hip. And then do a little cat cow. Or maybe you want to come down and do some cobras before we transition to being on our backs once again. So come through, take some drink of water if you need to. And hopefully be in the middle of your mat. You're going to rock down and we'll come back into our bridge posture. Feet hip distance apart, knees pointing up toward the ceiling. I'm just going to start with a little bit of pelvic tilt. So as I inhale, my pelvis tilts forward. The small of the back comes away from the mat. As I exhale, the small of the back flattens into the earth. Belly draws in slightly. It's such a small movement. But thinking about coming from this really small place is where we're thinking about the movement being initiated when we start to make this movement a little more dynamic. So my feet are hip distance apart. I'm going to press into my knees on this next one as I inhale, lift my hips and my pelvis up towards the ceiling. Try not to grip in the glutes. Exhale, rolling everything down. Moving with the breath, inhaling, exhaling. Maybe you incorporate the arms. So the idea is as you exhale, the low back touches down. At the same time, the palms touch down. If you're moving the arms. Last time, if you want to hold this bridge, you can. If you want to take a bind, you can. Now, if you think you're gripping with your glutes, think about dropping the hips a couple of inches, rooting into the toe pads of your feet, sinking or pressing the shins and the knees forward so you're lifting the hips more. And then I feel like I'm not gripping as much in my glutes. And exhale, release. Allow the feet to be as wide as your mat and the knees to come together. Just observe how that made your body feel. We'll slowly windshield wiper the knees from side to side. Hug the knees into the belly. Rock gently from side to side. So we'll do a little Apanasana just like we started. Inhaling, the arms straighten, the knees away from you. Exhaling, knees into belly. Now if it feels better to do that rowing that we did at the beginning of class, you can do that here too. Make sure you do the circles in both directions. The next time the knees come away from you, exhaling, we'll take that into a twist. So maybe stack knees, or you're more than welcome to do the supine twist that we did at the beginning of class. Inhale to center, and let's take that twist to the other side. Back to the center. Hug the knees into the belly. From here, you can come into a shoulder stand if you have a shoulder stand in your practice. We're making our last final movements before we come into our final relaxation posture of Shavasana. You might just want to take legs in the air. So I like to pad underneath my bum, maybe pointing flex those feet, while the ankles, but just feel that grounding energy coming from the soles of the feet, down the ankles, down to the knees, down to the thighs, down to the hips, the groin, into the belly, into the heart, into the throat, into the third eye, not the crown of the head. If you're taking a regular shoulder stand, which would look more like such, and you're encouraged and feel like you want to take halasana, prow pose. So while you're in this posture, you don't want to be moving your neck from side to side. It's in a really precarious position. You'll notice my hands at my low back. Feeling a little tight here, so if the toes don't touch down, do not take the bind. Keep the hands at the low back. And slowly unfurl out if you're in your halasana. We'll come into a modified fish pose. So if you were in that legs in the air, I like to take that palms underneath my bum. So they're kind of coming into this diamond shape like such. So make the diamond shape is where my sacrum would be. Pointing the toes, elbows alongside body, pressing the elbows and forearms, lifting the chest and the head, pointing the toes. So it's almost like I'm putting pressure on the crown of my head, but there actually is no pressure there. This opens the throat. Release. Knees into belly. Rock gently from side to side. Soles of the feet together, heels into the groin for Supta Konasana, supine bound angle pose. I'm drawing the heels into the groin and pressing the knees away from one another. So I'm finding a nice unfurling in the tail. So sometimes when you're here, the tail kind of comes up, but I'm trying to lay it flat onto the mat. So I'm feeling this nice line from the tail all the way to the crown of the head. Now trying to maintain the tailbone flat, soles of the feet up towards the ceiling for happy baby. Knees draw towards the armpits, baby rocking from side to side like a happy baby. And then as you're ready, unfurl out into your final relaxation posture of Shavasana. If being prone straight on the back doesn't do you well, keep your feet as wide as your mat and let your knees come together. You can just have your hands on your belly. Or you can have your soles of your feet together and your knees wide, maybe putting a couple of pillows or blankets underneath your thighs so they're not hanging in midair. You could also come into seated meditation if that's something that you're wanting to do here. So wherever you are, just take a few moments to unfurl out. Soften the skin around your musculature. Soften the eyes. Take a nice big inhale. And exhale, let it go. Settle into the support of the earth. Settle into deeper relaxation with each exhalation. So soften the eyelids, the eyeballs, maybe even swallow and release any tension you may have in your jaw, all the way out to your shoulders, all the way out to your elbows, to your wrists, to your palms, to your fingertips. Releasing the upper, mid, and low back into the earth. Releasing your glutes, releasing the pelvis, your hips and your thighs, your knees, your calves, feet and toes. Settling into the support of the earth, settling into deeper relaxation with each exhalation. Slowly bring your attention back to your breath, back to your body. Inhaling fully, exhaling fully. All your fingers and all the way out to your toes. Are you beginning to wiggle your fingers? Wiggle your toes. Making some small circles with the wrists and ankles. Stirring the body slowly awake. You can reach overhead, maybe clasp the hands and turn them outward, or just take a nice long body stretch all the way out and let it go. Inhaling. Do that one more time. Nice, slow, but strong. Let it go with the big sigh. If you are on your back, go ahead and hug the knees into the belly. Rock gently from side to side. So you rock over to one side and just make a little pillow with your bottom arm. Give yourself a breath or two of transition. And then as you're ready, you'll press yourself up using the strength of your arms to a cross-legged seated position, just like we started. Bring your hands to your heart if you like. Eyes closed. Come back to your breath and your body. Just notice if anything shifted for you today. Let's thank our bodies for all the work that they did today. I want to thank each and every one of you for taking the time to honor yourself and your practice. Showing up sometimes is just the hardest part. It's been my honor and privilege to be able to share my practice with you. The light in me sees and acknowledges the light in you. Namaste. Thank you so much, yogis. It has been such a pleasure to be able to share my yoga practice with you this Saturday morning through Bounty and Soul and Burning Sage Yoga. I have put my email in the chat. If you have any questions whatsoever, you can always holla. And you should check their schedule for, as it being a nonprofit, they have wonderful classes available to you. There's like a slow flow, I believe on a Tuesday. I know there's Zumba. And so you don't want to miss that. And a lot of other cool things that they have going on. It's been my honor and my privilege to be able to share this practice with you. And I hope that now that you did the yogas for the morning, now you can go into the rest of your weekend a little more grounded. Until next time, thank you so much and have a great and wonderful weekend.